Hey guys, so today I want to sort of talk about, now that we know the fact that LF UI Goku, or I say LF, but LF Ultra, whatever it ends up being, some iteration of Ultra Instinct Goku, the white-haired, silver-haired version of Ultra Instinct Goku, is going to be sort of the headlining character for the 4-year anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends, releasing this weekend, very, very soon, a few days away. I wanted to go ahead and discuss what I think could potentially be the other character, because normally these big celebrations these days have 2 headlining characters. So we're going to give up some possibilities, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on what you want to see and what you think is the most likely as the potential other character for the anniversary. Now, before we get into that discussion specifically, I do just want to quickly cover the fact that it looks like we're going to get some kind of TN for this anniversary. The official account did tweet out this image. They haven't really done many hint tweets recently for new character releases, but they decided to go ahead and do one now. Obviously, it makes sense, the anniversary. They did this last year as well for the 3 anniversary. They did a teaser for Kefla and merged Zamasu with like the juggler, like juggling the red balls or whatever. And then they did the teaser for Vegito Blue, which was like the spirit sword, right? That's how they tease that. This one is obviously Tien. It's like very... There's no other explanation for this. Like, very specific poses here. Tien literally did these poses in the actual show. So, yeah, some kind of Tien is coming. And then, with the data download that happened earlier today, we had some images released in terms of the countdown to the anniversary. The first one being Tien, the second one being Krillin, and then the third one being base form Goku. So these are clearly all from the promotional image for the Tournament of Power / Universe Survival Saga for Dragon Ball Super. These are like, you know, all the characters lined up getting ready to fight. So based off of the fact that they did a specific teaser for Tien, tells me, and I'm going to just assume that that means that Tien is going to be a summonable character. I don't think they've ever done a teaser for a free character. Maybe this will be the first time they do that, but I think just based off of the fact that they did that Tien probably will end up being the one of the summonable Sparkings on the UI Goku banner as part of the anniversary, which is interesting. I think Tien as a character definitely deserves to finally get a summonable Sparking, but I don't know if I would have preferred Universe Survival Saga. There's like 50 other kinds of Tiens I would have preferred over Universe Survival Saga Tien, where he accomplished almost nothing. Right, Dragon Ball Saga Tien, from like different arcs of Dragon Ball versus Demon King Piccolo from the World Tournament. We have Tien versus the second form Cell. We have Saiyan Saga Tien, who actually did quite a bit against Nappa. We have Buu Saga Tien, who I would even argue did more than he did in the Tournament of Power. So there's a lot of versions of Tien where I think they could have done and given him representation for, but for whatever reason they decided to do that here, which is fine, because eventually we're going to have to get this guy anyway. So. And then we have Krillin. Again, maybe the 2 summonable characters on the UI Goku banner are going to be Krillin and Tien. I mean, right, last year there's a reason why they decided to release Ice and Nova Shenron as summonable Sparkings in the Gogeta banner, because they knew that no matter who they put on that banner, people were going to summon anyway because it was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? Maybe that's the similar mindset they have to this year, where it's like, people are summoning for UI Goku no matter what we do with the banner, so we might as well release like Tien and Krillin on the banner as summonable Sparkings. And then we have the Space Goku here as the last image. Now, to me, this kind of looks like it could potentially be a free character. A base Goku is not really a character that really comes to mind for the Tournament of Power specifically. There's so many other versions of Goku. Unless he's like a transforming Goku, which, by the way, we haven't got a transforming unit, honestly, almost a year. I think Gokua was the last transforming character we've gotten that's not tied to a revive. So, I don't know, we'll see. But those are the 3 teaser images that we have. So now we're going to move on to sort of the main discussion of the video, which is UI Goku's coming out. Now, for the purposes of this discussion, I am going to be assuming, this is not confirmed yet as we recording this video, I am going to be assuming that UI Goku is an LF character and not an Ultra character, number 1. And number 2, that he is going to be releasing in part 1 alongside a second LF character. So it's basically the exact same structure to the anniversary as we had in the 3 anniversary, as we had in Legends Festival. The same format, same formula. So part 1 is going to be 2 LF banners. and then part 2 is going to be most likely some kind of Ultra banner or maybe some LF banner after that. We'll briefly touch upon my thoughts on the second part of the anniversary in the second part of this video, but for right now, those are the assumptions I'm going to be making. I think those are the most likely things that's going to happen. People are saying that they think UI Goku is going to be an Ultra. I personally do not think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to be a normal legendary finish character. That's not an Ultra, so a sparking legendary finish character is my thoughts for UI Goku. And so typically what that means is we're going to be getting a second LF banner next to him. And we really have no idea at this point what that could be, because the only hints that we've gotten are related to the Tournament of Power, right? We have the UI Goku Leak, which honestly we weren't supposed to know about yet, but it got leaked thanks to the icon promotional thing that they're doing, the campaign. And we have those 3 images that we just looked at, which are all Tournament of Power related, right? And I mean, we know it's not going to be full power Jiren. We just recently got an LF full power Jiren, so they really don't want to match up Jiren with UI Goku. I guess similarly to how Dokkan did it, they don't think Jiren is hype enough or popular enough to warrant a release during a major celebration like the anniversary, which makes sense because honestly, Jiren is not that popular of a character. But I sort of created a list of some characters that I think could potentially be released alongside UI Goku. Now, I will say that really no matter who they release, there's really not that many characters that could live up to UI Goku, right? And that's similar to what we saw last year. Merge Zamasu is as a character is definitely not on the level of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? That's why they had to go ahead and release a character like Vegito Blue on his banner to entice people to summon, whereas on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's banner, they had Ice and Nova Shenron, which don't really think anybody was going in on that banner. I'm like, yeah, my main target is Ice Shenron. Like, that didn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with who I think is probably, just in terms of hype, and in terms of which characters are not yet represented in terms of LFs, right? So these characters that I'm going to be listing here currently do not have LFs in the game. So the first character I want to bring up is a Dragon Ball Z version of Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Now, I've talked about this guy a lot. I mean, it's this version of Broly. Let me pull up the original Blue Broly, because I'm talking about movie 8 specifically, Broly, from the first Broly movie. Now, this guy is easily one of the more... If I can ever find it. How long is this? This guy is easily one of the most popular characters in Dragon Ball, just straight up, period, end of discussion. You talk about, top 10 characters in terms of hype and popularity. There's a very few amount of villains that will make that list, and I will guarantee you that this version of Broly makes the list. I would argue very comfortably that overall, this version of Broly is more popular than the Dragon Ball Super version of Broly. And the fact that we don't have this character as an LF or an Ultra is very, very strange. So to me, it almost seems like they were saving him for something, and what better time to release him than during the anniversary. Imagine an anniversary celebration where we have an LF Ultra Instinct Goku and an LF Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. That would be crazy. People would go nuts for that. I'm telling you right now, out of all the characters I'm going to be listing in this video, this possibility right here is probably the most would probably be the most profitable for Legends if they went ahead and did this. I would actually probably argue that the game would hit #1 top grossing in Japan. I would go as far as to say that if they went ahead and released this Broly as the counterpart LF to UI Goku. So this is honestly my #1 pick in terms of the other character who I think it would be. But there's some other options as well. I think this is kind of like a runner-up, but I don't really think it's that likely. But we recently got this Omega Shenron. Well, not recently, but semi-recently, I guess. What did he come out, like October or so? So like 8 months or something like that ago. And I think an Ultra, not Ultra, an LF Omega Shenron, potentially as the counterpart to an Ultra Instinct Goku, could also be a very, very good pick. Because last year, it was kind of like Super versus GT, but Super had the villain and GT had, you know, the big main headliner in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Well, this year could kind of be the opposite, where you have the main headliner as the superhero, the good character from Dragon Ball Super, versus the main villain from GT. So it's sort of like a flip-flop versus what we had last year. But because of this guy releasing, again, not recently, but not that long ago, I would say the overall chances of seeing this guy as the counterpart LF to UI Goku is fairly low. But as a character, like at some point, we're definitely going to be getting an LF Omega Shenron. And maybe some kind of like reviving Omega Shenron, because remember when Goku did the Dragon Fist, he literally obliterated Omega Shenron, and then he just regenerated thanks to the power of, I forget which Shadow Dragon it was, but one of the Shadow Dragons can regenerate, so I feel like that could be a good pick for a character. But in terms of like how likely that is, I would say it's probably not that likely. Another character to take a look at is actually in the regeneration tag here, so we'll go ahead and pull him up as well, and that is Buhan. Buhan has very, very low representation throughout Legends. We really only have this guy, and then the only other Buhan in the game was a free-to-play purple Buhan. Now, Buhan was the most powerful Dragon Ball Z villain in the main continuity, not counting like Battle of Gods and ROF, because I guess you can count that as Dragon Ball Z. Technically, those movies are they're marketed as Dragon Ball Z, but in the original run of the manga, Buhan was the most powerful character. He's easily stronger than Kid Buu. I hate that argument, like, oh, Kid Buu is stronger than... No, Buhan's the strongest version of Majin Buu, period. And obviously his fight against Vegeta was pretty legendary, and the fact that we don't have, like, at least another summonable Sparking of Buhan 4 years into the game is pretty absurd. They haven't even Zenkai this Buhan. I think a Zenkai of this green Buhan would help Regen out a lot. Regen has, I don't know what their thought process is behind the way that they want to handle the Regen team, but Regen has been left behind to rot for a long time. So if they decide to go down the path of giving like a LF to this character, this Buhan, that could definitely be a major help to the Regen team, and also powerful opponent as well. Even though I don't really think powerful opponent needs that much help right now, Regen would be the main target for this. Next character also is on the regeneration team, and that is Genemba. Specifically Super Genemba, obviously. I don't think we're going to get the giant fat version of Genemba. But Ultra Gogeta came out as part of the second half Legends Festival 2021. Eventually, we're going to be getting some kind of LF Genemba, right? It's going to happen at some point. Now, is this really the time to do this? I would say most likely not. I'm kind of on the fence about Genemba. I think if they did the reveals and stuff, and like they announced an LF Genemba, I don't think I would be that blown away. I would be a little bit surprised, and I'd be like, "Oh wow, I didn't expect that," but I wouldn't be like keeling over because of it. I think eventually we're going to be getting this, yeah, I mean, I would be okay with this. Again, Regen needs help. Sagas from the movies, I would say, doesn't need help, but because we're about to get a bunch of stuff from Superhero. But yeah, I will take this Genemba if they decide to do an LF for him during the anniversary, but we'll see. Next character is also the Regen team. Keep in mind, I'm only doing the villains first because I think it's more likely to get a villain counterpart to UI Goku than another, a hero character, and that's Baby. Now, the only reason why I'm even bringing up Baby in this video is because I've seen a lot of people talking about the possibility of us getting an LF Baby during the anniversary. Now, me personally, I would probably say that I would be very surprised, like very, very. I would be floored if in the reveals and stuff they actually showed off an LF Super Baby 2. I mean, eventually, again, it's going to happen. We're going to be getting the LF where he does the Golden Grade 8 transformation, does the whatever the Death Ball attack is, like the Revenge Death Ball or whatever the Golden Grade 8 version of that attack is called, and that's going to be the LF, right? To me, that seems more like a monthly LF release. I don't expect to see a LF Baby for the anniversary as one of the main characters. Baby is fine. He's a cool character. I think he's one of the better parts of GT easily. But in terms of an anniversary like this, at this caliber, this level, I don't think so. He would, on the other hand, though, be a very, very major help to a lot of teams. Regen, GT, I mean, those are two teams that actually do need a lot of help. I would say Regen actually does need more help than GT at this point, but GT could also use a lot of help. Powerful opponent, again, it's always nice to have more options for powerful opponent, even though, again, I don't think the team actually needs more help, though. But overall, I would think that this is one of the better characters that they could potentially release in terms of his impact on the meta. So that's Baby. Again, I would be very surprised if they did this. And then the last character to sort of talk about that's a villain, let me just pull up Powerful Opponent here, is one that I've been sort of hinting at for a while, and I'm actually surprised they haven't released yet as an LF, and that is Final Form Cooler. I don't particularly think an LF UI Goku versus Final Form Cooler anniversary seems very likely, but I'm just going to throw this out there anyway, because eventually, again, we're going to be getting an LF Final Form Cooler. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But, you know, I don't think it's going to happen now, but I'm just throwing this out there just in case to cover the bases. So that's like the least likely option, I think. All right, so now to cover sort of the hero characters. We saw for, I think, because what? We saw for the Legends Festival 2020 was Blue Gogeta and Full Power Broly, right? That was a double LF celebration. One was a hero character, one was a villain character. Then for the 3rd anniversary, we saw Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta versus Murasamasu. That was one hero character, one villain character. But then for Legends Festival 2021, we saw 2 hero characters. We saw Goku and Vegeta, the LF Purple Tag Goku and Vegeta, and the Sword of Hope Trunks. So those were not villains. There were no villain major releases during that celebration, because even in Part 2, we got an Ultra Super Gogeta. So we basically had 3 major releases, then none of them were villains. So it is possible that we see 2 protagonist-style characters release instead of a good guy and a bad guy for the dual LF celebration, if that's what they go with. So I'm going to throw out 4 characters, potentially, for the counterpart to UI Goku, even though they aren't villains. The first option, we don't even have this character, or version of this character, in the game at all yet, but it does sort of go hand in hand with the Universe Survival Saga theme of the celebration so far, and that is Goku and Frieza. Obviously, the team of characters that took out Full Power Jiren from Tournament of Power. Again, eventually we're going to be getting that character, but I think what they tend to do during the anniversary is they like to tend to spread out what teams get buffed, and they like to address different angles of the meta and sort of give pushes to teams that need it, instead of focusing all on one team or putting their eggs all in one basket. And we've seen that with every single major celebration in this game's history, right? If they do end up going with Goku and Frieza as the other LF alongside UI Goku, think about how overbearingly strong fighting the Universe Survival Saga team would be. It would just be ridiculous. So, I mean, people are talking about that. Goku and Frieza as another LF in the celebration, but I personally probably would say that it's not going to happen yet. The next possibility is another character that we actually do not have at all in the game yet. Version of this character, and that is Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Wrath of the Dragon movie. This is a rare example of a character where we just simply do not have him at all in the game, right? Goku and Frieza I can kind of understand, because the Tournament of Power is like end game Dragon Ball Super, and they're just now releasing UI Goku. However, we've already gone through basically all the movies, right? All the relevant and popular movies, I would say, for Dragon Ball. Yet, Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 3 Goku from Wrath of the Dragon, DBZ Movie 13, is not in the game yet. I don't know what they're waiting for. I really don't. But that's a real possibility for a character we could see as another LF in the celebration. The only issue with that is doing 2 Gokus. I don't know. I don't think they would do that. It's 2 versions of the same character. Unless we go to the next option on my list, which is Kid Goku. So the reason why I picked Kid Goku, I don't think it's highly likely. This is just like a long shot here. If they sort of do a theme for this anniversary where it's a look at Goku's evolution, and a look at his roots, where he's come from, and where he is now. And that's sort of an homage to the manga. I'm not going to go into manga spoilers, talking about the granola arc, but there is a lot that goes on in the granola arc that explores Goku's history and past. And I don't think Legends would directly address that, but I think it would be a cool idea and a cool concept to sort of go through Goku as a character and sort of having the absolute beginning of his journey throughout his life being Kid Goku as one LF, and then sort of like the end goal as of right now, which is pretty much UI Goku from the Tournament of Power. That's pretty much where we're at with Goku right now. He's evolved a bit in the manga. I'm not going to go into that, but as far as the series goes, in the animated world, that's pretty much where he's at, right? The UI Goku, Master Ultra Instinct, if you want to call it that, the silver-haired UI Goku. So I think that would be a cool way to sort of juxtapose where he came from to where he is now as the two LF characters, but again, not very likely. And then my last pick, as sort of, is this even that big of a long shot? It's Ultimate Gohan from the Buu Saga, who, the only reason why I'm even putting him on this list is, again, I still think it's pretty likely that we end up getting some kind of Ultra Super Vegito for Part 2. Where is this? This is probably going to be in the Buu Saga here. I think it's pretty likely we still end up getting some kind of Ultra Super Vegito for Part 2 of the anniversary, just because it's... like, guys, we got Ultra Gogeta for Legends Festival. Who are they going to release next? Like, come on. I think that's a pretty safe bet. But this is the only version, this Green Gohan, who released in like fall 2018. This guy is the only version of the Buu Saga Ultimate Gohan that we have in the game. So very underrepresented version of this character, who is very popular. So I'm a bit surprised they have not pushed more Ultimate Gohan stuff from the Buu Saga yet. So I think at some point we will see an LF of this character. Is it going to be during the anniversary? I don't think so. But again, I actually, for this guy specifically, I would not be like falling out of my chair surprised if they did announce that. Alright, so those are pretty much my picks for the other LF character for the anniversary, assuming they even go down that path of doing 2 LF banners in Part 1, which I think they will, but it's not confirmed yet. So, you guys can let me know down below what you think about that. Now, to briefly talk about Part 2. So Part 2, I should have had this pulled up ahead of time, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this up in time, but if we take a look at last year's banners for Legends, let me see if I can get this up here. If you look at when Part 2 released, I think it actually is... No, it's not here. If you look at when Part 2 released, I believe it was like the 20th of June or so. Somewhere around there. Yeah, if you take a Legends Anniversary Step Up Bojack Unbound, this is it. So this banner released on June 25th. So that was the start date of Part 2 of the anniversary. Dragon Ball Super Superhero releases on June 11th in Japan. I'm going to tell you guys this. Even though the movie is not coming out in the US until I think it was stated to be sometime in August, and even later in some other countries, I really don't think that Legends is going to be waiting until the movie releases in other countries to release stuff for the movie. We already have Gamma 1 and 2 in the game before the movie even released in Japan. If the movie's not out yet, we don't even know who the main villain is. And we already have Gamma 1 and 2 in the game. If you guys remember back to when Dragon Ball Super Broly released, this game, Dragon Ball Legends, dropped full power Broly in the game the same day that the movie released in Japan. So that should tell you everything you need to know about what their plans are going to be for Superhero. I am shifting my opinion sort of a little bit away from Part 2 being an Ultra Super Vegito, more to being something related to the movie. In fact, I think that what's probably going to happen is they're probably going to push Part 2 up a full 2 weeks, right? Instead of being June 25th for part 2 starting, they might push this up all the way to June 11th because that's when the movie releases. I 100% expect them to release something related to the movie the day the movie drops. Whether that's an LF, whether that's an Ultra character, I have no idea. But that, I think, is super, super likely. Once they announce and show that, like, you know, whatever the main villain is, like, I don't know, Omega Perfect Magneto Cell, or whatever the hell they decide to do. I don't know. People are saying Cell's coming back. Sure. It's going to be Professor Cell is the villain or something. Like, what? I don't know. He'll be an LF on the banner day number 1 of the movie releasing in this game. I'm telling you guys that right now. I would be shocked if they did not do something in Legends the day the movie releases, because that's when all the hype is built up to the maximum. That's when people want to summon for these characters, these new characters, the characters that they're going to be seeing in the movie theaters. So I definitely fully expect to see something related to the movie releasing on June 11th, which does leave a little bit of time left because this banner went all the way until August. That's a long time. They could potentially do a 3-parter for this anniversary, and that is something that I am sort of leaning more towards right now than I was before. I think a 3-part anniversary is highly likely this year, which is something that we've never seen Legends really do before. I mean, with the 2nd anniversary, we kind of saw a bunch of different layers of banners, right? We saw the initial sort of step-up banners for part 1. Then part 2, we ended up getting the Super Kaioken Goku and Pikkon banners. And then part 3, we ended up getting the Blue Goku and Vegeta. So technically we had 3 different summon sessions for that anniversary, but I wouldn't really call that 3 parts. I would say that for this anniversary, there is a realistic possibility of us getting 3+ LFs and an Ultra character, or straight up 4 LFs this anniversary. I think it's possible we end up getting dual LFs in part 1, an LF in part 3, and an LF in part 2, or they could potentially hit us with 2 back-to-back double LF banners. So number 1 would be UI Goku plus whatever the other LF is in part 1, and then part 2 could be 2 characters from the movie on June 11th. And they could potentially even do something after that. So when I tell you guys there's a lot coming, this is the reason. This is the first time we have an actual development in the animated world of Dragon Ball since the World movie came out in 2018. So there's going to be a lot happening here. This anniversary is probably going to be pretty long, I would say, and there's going to be a lot to do, I would think. So save those crystals, get ready. Let me know down below what you guys think about everything we talked about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.